We dealt with several contract renewals in the last episode, but there was one very important one that I left out. Today, we deal with Lewis Hamilton's contract. Hello everybody, welcome back to ASGP, welcome back to F1 Manager, and we are preparing for the British Grand Prix, the best race of the year in my opinion. But first of all, like I said in the intro, we have a fairly big issue to deal with, and that would be the contract of one Sir Lewis Hamilton. He has got high morale, which means he will be very open to a contract renewal. He's got 6 months left. He's currently on $23 million a year. His race target bonus is 450 grand. $26 million. Signing bonus, we're going to give him a $2.5 million signing bonus to open negotiations with. Usually, like historically, Lewis and Toto Wolff have sat down over like a pizza to do this. Unfortunately, it's currently 10 to 11 on a Saturday morning when I'm recording this, and I don't have pizza to offer, sadly. It would be nice if I did. But we're going to give a race bonus of $500,000 for a podium. So the total cost of hiring will be $8 million. But this is the big thing that we needed to do this year, was tie down Lewis Hamilton for another 2 seasons, which would take him into his 40s, I believe. So if it starts immediately, that would be, I'm guessing, next season. So let's propose this. See what he comes back with. Hopefully. Oh, declined. Does he want a third? Does he want 3 seasons and more money? So we'll up it to 27 and a half. Let's go back a little bit. Let's offer that 3 seasons. Let's see. Declined. Oh no, he doesn't want it so long. Maybe he only wants a 1-year deal. 1 season. So when would that? And then we'll just up it to 28. Should we start at the end of the season? 28. Let's do immediate. Hopefully, if we do 1 season, then that hopefully you'd think that would roll it over to the end of next season. Let's go 2 seasons and just see what happens. Hopefully, he accepts. No. All this is proving tricky, and I don't like it. I really don't like it. Do you know what? We're going to go 30 million on the salary. Let's go 1 season. Up the race bonus to 600,000. He's got low patience. No. 1 season. Oh, he's no longer interested. No. Oh no. We'll have to come back to it. Damn. No patience for negotiation. Lewis, what are you doing to us? We need to put some bits and pieces on George Russell's car. He's going to have to take a grid penalty because he destroyed his gearbox and his ERS in the last round in Austria, in which we did get a podium. All right, practice done. We're preparing for qualifying, and just before we do that, heavy rain during the race on Sunday. And we've done well in wet races so far. We got a podium in Australia, and we were looking pretty racy around Miami, and then we all entered the pit lane. So we're looking, positive on that front. Here we go. All right, let's see what Lewis has got on this first lap around Silverstone. He's generally very good. It'd be really cool, actually, I think, a cool addition if they could put like certain circuits where drivers really excel, sort of historically, so they do tend to go better if their confidence is high around certain tracks, which I think would be pretty cool. Personal best in the first sector for Hamilton. Through Magus and Beckett, no Red Bulls in the way this time to cause problems. A personal best, middle sector. The Alpine gets out of the way through Stowe. That's good news. Hopefully we're going to carry on and do a second flying lap. We are indeed. So Hamilton goes third fastest. Excellent lap from Lewis Hamilton. The Ferraris are kind of blocking each other up ahead. This is the lap that matters now. Not a personal best. Maybe the tyres are cooked. Perez has now gone second fastest, bumping us down to P4. Tyres might be past their best here. Alonso's taken the checkered flag. Middle sector is not an improvement. Verstappen goes second. We're down to fifth. We need a big final sector, please, Lewis, to get ourselves onto the front two rows. Here he comes then, across the line. Stays fifth. The tyres didn't hang on for that final lap. But P5, we've beaten a Ferrari. That's something, I suppose. All right, race time at Silverstone. Let's build our strategy. George Russell will start from last on the grid. It's going to be wet to start this race. Let's have a look. It's going to get heavier a few laps into the race. That's going to make things tricky. I would assume that the AI will go on to wets. So maybe with Russell we pit him onto wets and try and undercut everyone. We'll try and shadow everybody else with Lewis because he's got a decent starting position. We're going to underfuel by a couple of laps. Bit dark and gloomy at Silverstone, but those 5 red lights are shining brightly. Hopefully our boys can shine too. British Grand Prix is underway. Hamilton has immediately lost 5th place to Sainz. We're not actually watching him. We need to be following Lewis. He's side by side with the Ferrari. Can he get back up the inside into the loop? No, that's down to 6th place for Lewis. But hopefully we can just hang with this lot as the early laps unfold and see what they do when the rain comes. I mean, obviously if you do just the same as them, you'll end up where you started. We've got a yellow flag there. That's Oscar Piastri having an adventure. And George Russell's in the middle of all of this. And is looking around. Wow! George Russell with an incredible overtake. Wow! What a pass. And now De Vries has crashed. But the rain is on the way. Stroll looking down the inside. We could probably do with being aggressive. Please don't let the Aston Martin through. There we go. Just force him wide. He's going to get through, isn't he? That is incredibly annoying. 2 positions lost in the opening 4 laps for Lewis Hamilton. We need to turn his overtake aggression to high. George Russell is now 17th and behind Hulkenberg. Let's turn his overtake aggression to high. Come on, Lewis, you need to take this back, son. De Vries is having a wonderful time. He's collided with Piastri. Now he's locked up at turn 6. And just waiting for this rain to come and see what the AI does. And George Russell is now locked up and he's collided with somebody. And George Russell's got himself a penalty. Here we go. This is probably a consequence of us putting overtake aggression to high, but just a bit of rear locking, a bump with the Hulk. And that's enough to send the Haas off the track. And we've got some minor front wing damage. I think we pit him now, put him on some wets and fix the damage. Because if the wets become the faster tyre and everyone else is still on inters, he will gain back all this time he's about to lose and some. So we'll do that.
Box.
We'll box George. We'll serve the 5-second time penalty. And then we'll see if the wets become the better tyre. It's edging towards that 4mm of dampness on track, which will be the switchover point for wets. It's what the AI does, whether they decide to stay out on the inters or not. Hamilton still in 7th, just tracking the Aston Martin of Stroll. We've got a yellow flag. Stroll has gone off. Stroll has spun at turn 5 and handed us the position. That's all we were waiting for. Here we go. And there we go. He's just run out of talent. Hamilton does a good job to avoid it.
Whoa.
And Stroll has made himself a bit dizzy with that one. Race control track condition is now wet. Hamilton is starting to close on signs. Those guys ahead have used up a lot more of their inters than we have. So our pace now will be slightly better because we've saved our inters. In comes Zhou Guanyu for a pit stop, and George Russell has got an undercut on the Alfa Romeo. What was Russell's lap time that time around? 41 flat. So maybe the wets are the way to go. Let's keep an eye on George Russell's lap times because he's basically now the guinea pig for Lewis Hamilton. We need to make sure we make the right decision, which is obvious. What does Leclerc do? He's on a 44.4, Hamilton a 44.2. I think we come in. I think we come in for wet tyres. Where will we come out? 13th. Who's around that? That's Tsunoda, Norris. That's... Yeah, we kind of want to be ahead of Sargent, to be honest. Let's hang it out a bit more. I think the wets are the way to go because Russell is by far the fastest man on track. Surely that's enough information, isn't it? That's all we need to know, is that the wets are the faster tyre. But we're right on signs. So the signs could look at Leclerc just on his own, babysitting his tyres. He doesn't go in. There's Sainz. He stays out. Hamilton also staying out. But then the rain is going to ease off in a bit. I think actually while the wets might be the faster tyre now, I don't think it's going to last long enough for them to be worth hanging with. So 46.3 last time around for Russell. The wets are rapid, but the guys at the front have stayed out. We've made the right decision with Hamilton, and we've made what looks like a good decision at the moment with Russell. He will need to pit again for fresh inters. But again, on those, he will be really quick. And hopefully, because he'll have such fresher tyres, he'll be able to come through the other drivers at a fair lick. Can we get them into Stowe? And he's dived down the inside of Lando Norris. Lovely stuff. And track condition is now damp. And Logan Sargent, I thought he was about to turn in on him. I thought that was Collision City. He's possibly off the road there, George, but we'll go with it. And that's 2 positions gained by George Russell. Beautiful work. Big fan of that from George. Hamilton now right on Carlos Sainz. Can we get past the Spaniard? Round the outside into Brooklands. We're having a look. Surely not into Cops. I mean, we know Lewis Hamilton's history there. Here we go. Outside of Cops. Don't mind if we do. We've got through it. And still side by side, Magnussen Beckett's Hamilton gets the position. Come on, through goes Hamilton. And now we're right on to Fernando Alonso. Tyres overheating for George Russell. He probably needs to pit for some fresh inters, to be honest. So, potential podium on offer here because we're hanging with this leading group, 6 cars. 1 Aston Martin and 1 Mercedes in the fight. And it's actually brightening up here. So, the switch to slicks is definitely not far away. We've probably gone a bit too early with George, but we kind of needed to. So we're going to attack on the tyres, just abuse the tyres, George. He's come out ahead of Stroll as I predicted. So we can definitely re-undercut all of that lot with a good, well-timed switch to slicks. Lewis will go aggressive with you again, but we need to harvest some energy while we're at it. Interesting Grand Prix unfolding here. Very interesting. Well, Leclerc is just clearing off. Yellow flag. Sargent locking up. Sun shining on Silverstone. Track drying. So we'll keep an eye on the metric over here. The rain has now stopped, says Marcus Dudley. Russell has passed Hulkenberg cleanly this time. And now he's taking on Bottas. Hamilton's still chasing. We've got a yellow flag. Who's been off the track? De Vries is off again. What race he's having. I'd just retire him now. And Leclerc spun! The race leader! He's trying to lap. Oh, he's then got on the curb and dropped it. Oh, has he kept the lead? He has. But he's lost 6 seconds. George Russell is flying. He's just set the fastest lap and the track is about to be dry. So we're going to call George Russell into the pit lane. I'm going to put Hamilton on a set of hards. I'm going to change that idea. Russell's in. He's going to be on mediums. He needs that extra pace. If he needs to make an extra stop, then not a problem. Pit stop issue for Lando Norris. Hamilton's coming in. We'll harvest and conserve. All the leaders are in. The Red Bulls are going to have to double stack. How's that going to work? They're right next to each other. Red Bull are going to have to double stack. Verstappen's about to get absolutely stuffed. But we've had to be... Oh, we've lost the position to Sainz because we had to be held. Alonso's now up to P3. That's not worked out well for us. Although Hulkenberg's definitely the car behind. What was going on there? Why has Sargent got the penalty for that? Unbelievable. Alright, lap 30. 22 laps to go. We've got 25 seconds to Ocon. I'm thinking we pit for a set of softs. They'll do 23 laps. A brand new set will do 27. There'll be 0.8 of a second a lap quicker than the hards. And I think if we go lap 32 for Hamilton, then we can try and catch the guys ahead of us. The soft says, well, even at lap 34, they'll just die. 30, that's 14 laps to the end of the race. Let's go lap 35 and call Lewis into the box for some soft tyres. We'll go hammer time now. He's closing the gap a bit on Sainz. 32 flat. Sainz not quick at this point. Maybe he's just saving some tyres. George Russell's chasing a point. He's up against another one of his good mates from Formula 2 days. Alex Albon in the Williams. Sorry, mate, we're going to have to remove you from the points-paying position that you're in. Another beautiful overtake around the outside by George Russell. He's got... We didn't change the front wing. You know when we pitted him for wets earlier, I forgot to change his front wing. Oh well. It hasn't slowed him down. Let's just imagine he said everything was fine. Hamilton is now 1.6 behind Sainz, and this is his optimal pit stop lap for the softs, which will give him 17 laps to re-catch the Ferrari and try and overtake him. But annoyingly, Fernando Alonso is in third. So if Verstappen could do us a favour and take that podium position away from the Aston Martin, us at Mercedes would be mightily grateful. So brand new set of softs. Ready to go on to Hamilton's car. And into the pits he comes. Is it a decent stop? Yes, 2.5 seconds. It's about normal for us. What do we do with Russell? Do we ask him to look after his tyres? He's closing on Magnussen. There's 15 seconds to Gasly, so if we get past Magnussen, we might as well just settle for... He's gone past Magnussen now. Hamilton, it's hammer time. There's Russell. I think we'll just settle for P9 because he's not going to catch Gasly, even if he pits, and if he pits he'll have to overtake this lot again. So we'll just settle for P9. That's a sensible recovery drive, I'd say. A few laps to go then, and Russell has hit the danger zone for punctures with the tyres. They've dropped below 30%. He's got 10 seconds on Magnussen, so we can afford to back off. We can't afford to pit him, unfortunately. That would have been a nicer position to be in, but he will then lose out to Norris and lose a couple of points. So just going to hang on to that. Hamilton is closing on Sainz, but I don't think he's going to reach him in time. We can be aggressive for the last few laps. Yeah, it's not going to be quite enough. Losing that position in the pit stops hurt us. I mean, he's closing now, so I'm move things along towards the end of the race. So I'm going to want to make sure that Russell doesn't get a puncture. We might just conserve with him. Is Hamilton going to get DRS? Where is he? He's there. He's on the edge, teetering on the edge of getting the drag reduction system. We've got a couple of laps to go. Can we steal a 5th place finish off of Carlos Sainz? I mean, we qualified 5th, so finishing 6th would be a disappointment. We can actually push because we've saved some fuel. So we will now get DRS. Here comes Hamilton. Not close enough this time. Leclerc has just run away again, despite that spin on the Inters earlier on. Verstappen is now up to 2nd, Alonso 4th. Leclerc starts the last lap, and Hamilton is swarming all over the back of the Ferrari. And is he going down the inside into Vale and through Club? Not quite, but maybe into Abbey. I think if we go deploy here, attack on the tyres, let's turn the aggression on the overtakes up to high. Lewis Hamilton on board with the 7-time champion, 8-time British Grand Prix winner. We're going to have a look into Cops. We're looking this way and that. Sainz defending still. Deploying, and we're pushing on the fuel. It's going to be a last of the late breakers, perhaps into Stowe. We've got a good exit out of Chapel, and we're going to make the move with DRS. We have, as Leclerc wins the race, we have taken 5th away from Carlos Sainz. George Russell's actually going to be the last driver on the lead lap.
This is awesome work, Lewis. Come on.
It is awesome work, Lewis. And we'll just go balanced on the fuel so we don't run out.
These tyres are good, Nick.
And 5th place for Lewis Hamilton, which has vaulted Alonso up to 6th in the championship. Well, actually, sorry, he was there before. George Russell has now got ahead of Lance Stroll after Stroll's many adventures in this weekend. We don't really close the gap on Ferrari. Well, we've lost ground to Ferrari. We matched Aston Martin for points. So, yes, it was a circuit that played to our strengths, but in the end we finished... How far did we finish behind the race winner? 12, 13, 15... You know, it was almost 20 seconds adrift of the race winner. But I suppose from George Russell's perspective, starting last and the penalty for the collision, it's a decent recovery to 9th place. Manufacturing of the side pods is complete. Next round is Hungary. We've got car, the front wing is missing. It's definitely on the car around the circuit in Silverstone. Well, if you enjoyed that, make sure you give the video a nice big thumbs up for me. Subscribe for more F1 Manager content, and I'll see you for the next round in Hungary. It's goodbye for now.